Welcome back, everybody. We're back where we started. So we have my same screen. I won't describe it this time because hopefully we all understand what I'm doing here if you watched the other previous videos. So what we have here is once again just a simple program where we have the HTML going to the screen here with this element thing, obviously nothing in there. And then we just hooked up our JavaScript file, so it's right here. So now we're just going to expand on what our knowledge is, and we're going to go to the most fundamental thing in programming. And I'm going to go ahead and just comment this out because we don't need it right now. So I'm just going to go ahead and comment it. So let's say for a user, they want to buy a movie. So in this file here, somewhere on the page right here, we have an input box, so to speak, and they enter a name of a movie, Saw or any type of horror movie like that, and it returns whether or not that is in the array of movies. So we need to make that logic. That's something that we need to provide for the user because once again, the user is not going to have access to this code and then see this array, right? Nor even if they could see a printed out version on this page right here, they don't want to look through possibly thousands of movies to see if their movie is available for buying or selling. So we need a fast way for a user to search. So hypothetically, let's make a user search right here. And let's make that equal to whatever they want to search for. Once again, there's an input box, and once they hit enter, this right here captures that click. So just pretend for now. We'll get into more about how to capture user input later. So the user pushes in push. They want to sell or buy push. Let's go with sell right now. They want to sell push on this website. So how do we go about doing this? Well, the most fundamental thing in programming, and you'll see this possibly in every single other programming, is called the if statement. Literally, I would stake my reputation on saying that 99.9% of programming is just within this concept of if. It might not look like an if, but it's really saying to the computer, hey, if this, then do that. If not this, then do that. That's literally what's going on here with this statement. So how can we do this? All right, well, very simply. So we have an if statement. Now, how an if statement syntax is looking like, it looks like this, and then followed by the curly braces. Once again, I'm going to be nice to myself. This is my convention. You don't need to follow this if this doesn't help you. I do end of if statement so that I know for a fact that this curly brace goes with this one. Also, Sublime helps you as well if you're using Sublime. See how I click this curly brace and this underline comes back? The only hard time is that what happens if this one's all the way on the bottom right here and you can't see it, right? So that might have a challenge to it. So, I erased everything. Control Z is amazing, but sometimes it's very dangerous. So we'll go back to where I had it here. Okay, so end of if statement. So anyway, my convention, you don't need to follow it. So basically, this is once again block level coding. Just like our for loop, this is a block level thing. Why is it block level? Because you see how this runs in one line, this runs in one line, this runs in one line, so on and so forth. So it's procedurally going through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you have a block level code which does all this code in one thing. So this is called block leveling. And usually with block leveling, you're going to have these curly braces to tell the computer, hey, this if statement contains whatever's in these curly braces. So whatever we want to test here, we're going to put inside of this. And this can be as redundant as this. So if 5 is greater than 4, then console log true. Whoa. notice that, and I'm going to take this out for a second. Notice that it went to this color because true is a keyword in JavaScript. It's Boolean. So what we're doing here is we're saying if 5 is greater than 4, then console log this. I know this is really redundant, but I want to show you this. So we're going to print this out. Notice that we now got the true here. And just for ease, so you know what's connected to what, I'm going to just comment this out so we don't have to see it every single time. So notice that we have the true here. So basically what's happening here is we're saying, hey, if 5 is greater than 4, do this. As simple as that. And what you can even add something here is called the else. Once again, block level coding. So the else goes hand in hand with the if statement. Now, don't get me wrong. You don't need an else every time you do an if statement. It's up to you as a programmer whether or not you need an else statement. But an else statement and an if statement go hand in hand when it's a binary choice, right? If it's left or right, if it's greater or not, so on and so forth, right? So if there's two possible ways of it working, then you probably want an if statement. If there's multiple, we're going to get into that. There's a statement that will help us there. So let's try this. Obviously, we're still going to get true because this is still true. So what we can do here is we can replace this with 7. And take a look at that. It's now false because it went into this else statement right here. So this is fundamental. This is, if you understand what I did from 18 to 26, then all you really need to learn is how to update that dynamically. Because you see how static this is? 5 and 7 are never going to change, right? Unless you, the programmer, come back and change this. But it's not like this is set up to a variable that can change throughout the program. So let's try this. So what we're going to do is simply we're going to do if user search equals something like this. Now notice I used the double right here. The double I'm drawing break equations. Wow, I could not think of that word. The equations. We use a signal one whenever we're declaring something. So here we're doing push is equal to user. Movies is equal to this array. Movies 1, 5, 3, so on and so forth are equal to these strings. This is testing equivalency. Is it equivalent? So, for example, does push equal the Punisher? Obviously, this is not going to go into the statement. We can run it because it's not. We can just see it. So we're going to get a false again. So what we can do here is expand this, and we can do else if. So else if, once again, takes in these brackets, it's a block level code, and now we can do this. And then we're going to change this to true. So now we're testing the first two, and nothing's going to show up because it's not true. So we can keep doing this. We can do this for hours if we want. This is all your dreams right here, is to do this. And I'm going to do some copying and pasting here so to help me out. Zoning out a little bit. Okay. Haven't finished my cup of coffee this morning. If you can't tell. And how many elements in here? We have 4. Okay, awesome. So I'm just going to take this in here. And now, once again, I'm going to follow up with an else statement. Else doesn't take any parameters. Yeah. So else is not going to take any parameters because obviously if all of these are not hit, it's going to hit that. So let's try it. So we got a true, yay, on line 32. So this one is true. So that is one way that you can use an if statement and an else if to test through this. And that's kind of how this formula goes. So that is how this works. All right, I will come back to you and I will do a next video quickly on a switch statement. All right, bye.